Good afternoon and welcome to Horticulture Geek. I am Ray. And today I wanted to talk about some questions that I've received a lot because I'm starting to plan my gardens for 2019. And I've had people ask me, well, how do you know what to plant? How do you know when to plant? Do you grow from seed? Do you buy it at the store? All these questions. Well, that is what garden planning is. And this is what gets a lot of gardeners through the winter months when we can't actually be out in the dirt digging around and planting stuff. So even though it's wintertime and the garden's kind of put to bed, it's asleep, the work is still going. So today I thought I would share some of the resources I use, some of the tips I use, and to know when to do things, how to do things, and kind of what to do. The first question to me is the what. What do you want to grow? Well, I can't answer for anybody else what you want to grow, but I know what I want to grow. It's all completely personal, and it depends on where you live in the country. So I'm very fortunate here in Arkansas. I'm in Zone 7, 7A, so we can pretty much plant and grow anything we want. Now, we have to watch what we're doing because it gets so hot here in the summers. So our cool season crops, your brassicas, cabbages, kales, your lettuces, things like that that require a cooler temperature to grow, we grow those twice a year, in the spring and in the fall. So we don't grow those in the dead heat of the summer. Now, cabbages and Brussels sprouts and stuff, if you want a good fall crop, you will plant those in the summer, but you're planting them so they can get root established and ready to go by the time it's fall. So just knowing some of that stuff. And so that's why it's key to look at your tags on your plants that you're buying or on your seed packages. One of the resources I really like to use when it comes to trying to figure out what I want to plant is obviously everybody's going to have their go-to stuff. Like for me, I know I want aroma tomato, whatever the variety is. I know I want aroma tomato. I know I want a jalapeno pepper. I know I want some cucumbers, okay? So everybody's going to have their specific things that they want. But then from there, how do you decide what to do? Fabulous resource. I did a video about this not too long ago where my seed order actually came in. Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds, it's rareseeds.com, is a fantastic resource for especially the vegetable garden, but they also have some good flower stuff in here too. And you can either look online or get their free catalogs. And it's real great. It's full color displays. It talks to you about what the vegetable or the flower is, kind of what is expected with it, how you would grow it well. Their website goes really in depth. And actually, one of the great features about Baker Creek, which is why I really love them, is they have a spot on their website for customer feedback. So if I want to grow this Chinese fruit radish right here, I can go onto that website and look and see who's grown it, and they'll do a review on it. Did well for me if I did this. Did not do well for me because I was too hot or too cold or this, that, and the other. So you can actually hear real people's explanations about why it was successful, why it wasn't, and how they plan to correct that issue in the future. So you know right off the bat, don't make the same mistake they did, or that's really good advice, let me follow what they did. So that's a really great resource. So now then, you've looked through your seed catalogs, you've gone to a garden center or a big box store, and you've purchased something. What do you do? How do you grow it? Well, the answer to that is you're going to have to do some research. Now, there is a lot of luck in gardening. Some people will just run out to a big box store, grab a plant, bring it home, shove it in the dirt, do nothing to it, and they may do all right getting something out of it. But that's really not recommended. You really want to take your time and research the plant and how that plant is going to operate in your area. And one of the best ways to do that, especially here in Arkansas where I am, is to use your resources such as your extension office. So at our extension office here, they give us for free on the extension website, the University of Arkansas extension website, this is a year-round garden calendar guide. So let me zoom in on that. So that's telling me right now it's January. I'm filming this. Well, it's actually not January. Tomorrow's January. But in January, if I haven't done it already, I would be ordering my seeds and getting them here. I would be putting lime on my soil if my soil needs it. I would apply and incorporate compost into my beds, flower beds, vegetable beds, whatever beds you're working with. You want to get organic matter into that soil. Now's the time to do that. It's not the time to do it when you're putting plants in the dirt. You want to do it now so that your soil's ready for your plants. You can prune your fruit trees and shrubs right now. If you need to do a soil test, January is a great time to do the soil test. And prepare my work tools. Again, basic hints here. Don't let yourself get caught at the beginning of the season. You've went out and spent all this money, bought all this stuff, you bring it home and then realize, where's my stuff? Where did I leave that shovel? Why didn't I put this away properly? What do I need to do to get myself ready? Do your prep work now. It's gonna make your gardening life so much better in the spring and summer. All right, so I've got my garden calendar. I've got my basic tasks going. Now then, another great resource that I like, this is my homemade garden Bible per se. So whenever I find a resource, this is a good tip too. Whenever I find a resource, if it's a printable format, I print it. Because trying to remember 1,500 websites that you may happen upon on a Google search, or if you're watching somebody's YouTube video and they say, hey, go to this to find this resource, the likelihood of you remembering that stuff from year to year, season to season, day to day, very slim. So if you find a good resource that allows you to print it out, and you have the means and capability to print it out, print it. That's what I do. I 3-hole punch it. It goes into my garden Bible. This is where I keep all my information. So one of the other things that I found is a Zone 7 vegetable planting calendar guide. Love this calendar guide. I can't even remember what website I got it from. I think I've Googled it before though, looking for it, and you can find it. So, like I said, I don't even remember where I got this thing from, but I have Googled it, and you can find it. If you Google vegetable planting calendar guide, it'll pop up, and it'll pop up for your zone. So, take this out of my binder. So here's what this looks like. And I love this thing because it's color-coded by vegetable item by month. So let me see if I can zoom in here and let you see this. So the green, the yellow, and the red. So green is when I should be starting my seeds indoors, getting ready. The orange or yellow is when I should be putting the seeds in the transplants, or the new, if I go to the big box store and I buy a 6-pack of something, or an individual cup of a tomato or an eggplant or whatever, that yellowy orange is when I want to be putting that in the ground. And the red is when I should be harvesting that if everything goes to plan. So for instance, if we'll look right here, the very first one is beans. So just generic beans. Green beans, pole beans, string beans, whatever. Here in Arkansas, Zone 7, if I'm going to plant those indoors, I'm going to do that April 1st. Anywhere in the month of April, I'm going to be planting those indoors to get them ready to go out, okay? Month of May is when I can actually put seeds in the ground outside and start there, or I could take my transplants and put them out into the landscape at that point in May. All right, had a kid interruption, sorry. So with beans, now I typically am not gonna start beans inside. It's really not necessary. I'm gonna wait and put them in the ground directly. So I'm gonna direct sow that seed, which means I'm gonna take that green bean seed out of the package, pop it right into my garden, with a little protection so a squirrel or chipmunk doesn't eat it up, and let it grow straight from there. So that's going to be end of May, 1st of June. That's when I'm going to do that here in Arkansas. And if that's done correctly and everything grows, by September, October, I should be harvesting. And so what you'll notice on this sheet as well is some of these have a gap in the middle. So it's the same thing, beets, broccoli, broccoli. Those are my cool season crops. I can't grow those in the heat, remember? So this is telling me I've got to start it, grow it, and harvest it before the dead of the summer heat. And then right here at the 1st of August, I got to start again. Start it, grow it, and harvest it before the freeze comes. So this is a fantastic resource to let you know when to plant. The other thing that I found that I really like is some people are really big into companion planting. I do companion planting based on necessity. If you've watched any of my garden tour videos out here in the garden, I'm on a suburban lot in town. I have a swimming pool, lots of concrete, very little growing space. And my flower beds are mostly botanical. They're mostly flower beds. So what I grow is, it's a French term, it's called potager. So I technically have a potager garden. What does that mean? That means I grow ornamentals, botanicals, and edibles together in one spot. So I'm not doing row crops. I'm not doing mass market. I'm not doing market gardens or any of that big farm to table gardens. I'm literally doing vegetables interplanted with my flowers and botanicals so that I can have a personal family harvest here at our home. Okay, so I companion plant based on necessity. A lot of people want to do it just for fun and because there are some things that you're going to plant next to each other because they're beneficial. For instance, marigolds are natural insect repellent. So you're going to plant marigolds. They're pretty, they're botanical. You're going to plant those near your vegetables because they're going to help your vegetables to ward off insect pests. Another thing, which is a fantastic tip, is basil. You want to plant basil next to your tomato plants because basil, the smell of basil and the basil oils are natural deterrents for tomato hornworm. So planting basil next to your tomatoes will help. It will not stop, it will not eliminate, but it will help deter tomato hornworm on your tomatoes. So you can go out and find a companion planting chart, which tells you, okay, what's compatible, what's combative, what's not going to be compatible, okay? So for instance, if I want to plant beets and I need a companion plant for beets right here, I can plant asparagus, broccoli, cauliflower, lettuce, or onions in the same bed as my beets and they will all thrive. But I cannot plant mustard greens or pole beans with my beets. They compete for too many of the same minerals in the soil and they compete for space and they're going to crowd out those beets. So now that I know that if I want to put a lot of stuff in one bed, I've got to be mindful of what those things are, okay? So doing that research, finding resources to help you will be beneficial as you go through. Another resource which I have found, again, from our extension office here in Arkansas, which I absolutely love. We are very blessed to have a wonderful land-grant university with the University of Arkansas. So one of the resources that they have on the extension office website are vegetable sheets. I can literally go to my extension office website and pull up broccoli, Brussels sprouts, tomatoes, muskmelons, beans, summer squash, winter squash. It's all there. And these sheets, so if you are a person who is a hands-on see it, do it, experiment with it learner, this will be a good guide. It may not help you a lot, but if you're a person who likes to study it, absorb knowledge, absorb information, read it for yourself, and truly put a good background behind the how and the why, these sheets are fabulous. So this tells me, for broccoli, it's just the first sheet on top of the page, my light requirements, my soil requirements, my fertility requirements, my pH requirements, my temperature requirements, my moisture requirements. It's all here. It gives me history on the plants. It gives me best cultural practices to grow the plants, planting times. So this sheet also goes over cultivars that will grow here in Arkansas. So for instance, if I'm interested in getting the quickest harvest I can off of a broccoli, then I can look here and I can see that my days to maturity are 55 days on a Goliath hybrid and 55 days on a Pac-Man hybrid. Other than that, I'm gonna have to wait 62 days for a Gypsy, 68 days for a Green Comet, 69 days for an Arcadia, and 75 for a premium crop hybrid. And then these sheets also do a little Q&A about them as well. So some common problems, some common things. So again, great resources. So the point is to go out and find your resources. So look for things at your extension office, your land grant institution. What is a land grant institution? That's basically just the institution in your state that offers agriculture and horticulture, turf management, landscaping, all those classes. So look for that kind of stuff. And then once you've figured out what you want to grow, how it grows, then you can figure out where you're going to grow it in your garden or your yard. So keep it in mind, those companion planting practices, light requirements. So for me, on one side of my yard, I have a neighbor that has a couple of very large, gigantic oak trees. They cast morning shade. They don't cast afternoon shade because of the way the sun rises, thank goodness. So I know if I've got something that requires just absolute all-day sun, no shade, I can't put it under those trees are on that side of the yard. It's gonna have to go on the other side of the yard. But if it just needs partial sun or something like that, then I can work with those conditions. So you're gonna have to know your resources, know your yard, and then do what you wanna do. That's pretty much all there is to it. Looking for inspiration from others. I know YouTube videos out here have a lot of information. You can look for channels that have information and they grow things and show you how to grow things. You can go to a botanical garden and look for inspiration. I know I recently went on a family trip and we toured Gibbs Gardens, about an hour outside of Atlanta in Georgia. Wonderful place. Lots of ideas running through the brain about what I want to bring back to my own yard. So at the end of the day, what you're gonna do, how do you know what to plant? Where do you know what to plant it? When do you plant it? It's all based on your research and knowing your conditions, your yard, your zone. And then just having fun and making yourself happy and doing what you want to do. So I hope that helps. I hope that answers some questions. I hope that brings some stuff home to you that maybe you didn't know, or give you some ideas to look for resources. So as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button, ring that bell, get notifications. And don't forget to join our Facebook page. I throw some random stuff up there as well. So from Horticulture Geek to you, I hope you enjoy a happy and productive 2019 garden season. Have a great day.